In this tutorial, we'll explore how to search high-resolution images, ones with high pixel counts, on the internet, save them in their highest resolution stage possible, and then open them up into Adobe Photoshop. These are skills that you will use to begin many projects, so it is good to understand these concepts early on in design and digital art. First thing I'll do is open up an internet browser. I have Google Chrome right here. Double click on it. And then I'm going to begin by typing in some descriptive words that will indicate what photos I want to find. Oops. I'm going to choose farm landscape. And then I'm going to click on images to filter out only pictures. I don't want any articles right now. And then I get a conglomeration of different pictures that match my description. What is very helpful in working with photographs in Adobe Photoshop is to just kind of off the bat start by only looking for imagery that is high resolution. So I'm going to click on here and search tools to the far right, and then I'm going to go down to size, and I like to only search large images. If you really want to get specific, you can say larger than, and then these numbers represent the pixels of the photo's height and the photo's width. These also show 2 megapixels and 4 megapixels. Normally large is fine. If you want to get more specific, you can, but now Google is filtering these out for me, and they're only showing me images that Google deems to be large. Let's say I really like these cows here. I'm going to click on the cows, and right here I notice that this photo is copywritten. So I don't want to just use this photo as my own. It's one thing if in Photoshop I'm cutting and pasting and using tiny bits of this photograph so it's unrecognizable, but this one would not be one that would be okay to just kind of leave and do simple edits on. And we'll talk more about photo appropriation later or in class. But for these purposes, I'm just showing you how to save the picture and open up the picture in Photoshop. This is just fine. So I've clicked on the image. I don't want to stop here though. I want to click View Image right here. And as you can see, this is a lot larger. So I'm going to now, once I've gone through that process, right click and then say Save Image As. Cows in Austrian pasture land, sure. If you want to type in another descriptor, that's fine. And now I'm going to simulate going into a student folder. So I'm going to go into here, and I've called my folder White Sea, so I'm going to double click there, and then once I'm in my folder and I can see the path that my computer has taken up here, I'm saving it in White Sea. That's good. I'm going to say save. As you can see, it downloads right down here in the bottom left of my browser window. I'm going to then open up Photoshop by hitting the Windows button, clicking it, letting Photoshop open. And if I want to open up a photograph from the internet, instead of going File New, I will say File Open, and then follow that path. So White Sea, same path, figure out where you saved it, and I'm going to click Open, and then my background layer is now the photograph that I took from the internet. And with large photos like this, you can zoom in pretty far until you start seeing the individual pixels. So the photos, sometimes you see getting pixelated, but searching large photographs will avoid that from happening. The last thing that I want to do before I do anything with this photograph is I want to make sure that it's 300 pixels per inch. That's called the resolution. And as a rule of thumb, designers usually don't want to create anything for print that is less than 300 pixels per inch because it limits their options and how big they can blow something up to. Going to go to the top toolbar, click Images, or Image rather, go Image Size. If you like shortcuts, it's Alt-Control-I. And here the resolution is 72 pixels per inch. I'm going to change this to 300, And I think I'm going to drop the width down. So if we printed this out right now, if we sent it to like Kinko's, it would be 22 inches wide by 15 inches tall. That's a little bit big. I'm just going to change one of these, and then the other will change along with it to keep the proportions. That's symbolized by this locking button here, the constrain aspect. We want to keep that on to make our cows still look like cows and our pasture still look like a pasture, and not play with the proportions too much. So I'm going to make this about 12 and 7. I think that's a little bit bigger than a piece of computer paper, so I'll say okay. Not much should happen. It got a little bit bigger. But before you do anything with an image taken from the internet, you do want to make sure that your image size, the resolution, is 300 pixels per inch. That concludes this tutorial.